Welcome to Maverick PT, guys. Today we're going to be going through the common lunge matrix with the common shoulder to overhead press matrix. Kind of three-dimensionally, we're keeping it basic and simple right now. We have a couple little dumbbells here, kind of help load us from the top down. Think of it as you're doing it a way to kind of mobilize the entire body three-dimensionally. So even though, yes, your arms and your legs are both working, we're using the dumbbells to kind of overload the trunk, so that T-spine, the L-spine, the hips, the knees, the feet, and the ankles, three-dimensionally from the top down. So when we're driving in our different planes of motion, we're looking to essentially gather mobility, gather stability through that chain reaction throughout the entire body. First thing we're going to do, we're going to start off with a few just anterior lunges with some shoulder to overhead presses in the sagittal plane. So we're going straight shoulder to overhead. We're only going to demonstrate a few for each position so that we have enough time to go through everything. So just sagittal plane lunge, sagittal plane press. We're going now to that anterior lunge, but now we're going to add a little frontal plane press. So now it's driving the hips, the feet, and the ankles, that's thoracic spine, and the frontal plane, that side to side plane. So we're going shoulder to overhead to the side. We're now going to add the transverse plane with our presses, so rotation to the anterior lunge. So we're here as we sink into the lunge. If you rotate trunk right, you're going to press right. Rotate left, press left. It's a good way to overload the hips in that TZ1 and TZ2 position to be able to get us some good internal rotation. Go another one to this side. So lunge-wise now, we went sagittal plane. So we're now going to go frontal plane, so side to side, and then we're going to go rotation with those three different kinds of presses right there. So frontal plane lunge, as we know, lunging on down and in, sagittal plane press. Frontal plane lunge, little shoulder to overhead, kind of press. Straight forward. Going downhill right here, which is a nice little angle, a little more challenging. We're now going to go frontal plane lunge with a frontal plane press. So sink that butt down and in. A lot of times we'll have a tendency to bail the hip and the foot out. Drop your butt down in and over that leg. Frontal plane press. Frontal plane press. And the last one, frontal plane lunge with that rotational press now. Kind of overload, so we're taking up the slack in the system from the top down, so the hips, the feet, and the ankles, and that side to side plane. See if we can get a little more mobility going after it with a little rotation. So we have a little frontal plane lunge. Rotate trunk, press right. Rotate trunk, press left. Drop your butt down and in over that leg. Don't let the hip and the foot and the ankle bail out. Sink in, rotate, and rotate. Last one. To each side, sink the butt in, frontal plane. Rotate and rotate. We're now going to go to our rotational lunges with our 3D matrix shoulder to overhead presses. We're going to alternate legs. It's important that the base foot stays pointed towards you. Like 12 o'clock on a clock. So we're going to start with the right foot being the base first. You're going to rotate out on a 135-degree angle with your lunge. Keep the foot pointed forward. We're going sagittal plane presses first. So here. And back up. Notice how that base foot is pointed nice and forward. And we'll go last one. We'll get into the specifics a little bit more in some further episodes in terms of how we can kind of tweak these things and go after certain things throughout the spine, throughout the hip, throughout the foot and the ankle specifically. But right now, it's a great way to mobilize the tissue, mobilize the joints three-dimensionally, and then re-educate with movement. We're now going to go with that rotational lunge with a little frontal plane Little side-to-side press action. Rotate out, press, and press, shoulder to overhead high, straight to the side. Shoulder to overhead. It's important that this back leg is enabled to get nice and straight, goes after the groin, goes after the hamstrings. I'm now going to add the rotational press to the rotational lunge, so transverse plane on transverse plane. There you have it. There is your common lunge matrix with your common shoulder to overhead press matrix. Go ahead and take it for a spin, guys.